Alright, here are my 2 pages of notes. And let's begin. It has been over a month since we have been in quarantine. I can't believe that it's been that long since we were let out for midterm and that we were hit with the news. Sources like CNN and Fox News have brought us news of this pandemic, and before have been giving us news stories from all different sorts of categories. While I am appreciative of these sources for keeping us up to date, it seems like the news has been taken to a new level. Today, I will persuade you on the negative effects of the news and how we can counteract these effects. I am credible to talk about this due to extensive research. We will look at the illnesses and phobias that come from reading the news too much and how much control it has on our lives, and finally find a solution to the problem. First, we will look at the illnesses and phobias that come from reading the news and how much control it has on our lives. While it is not bad to read the news and watch TV and stuff, it can be negative at times. It tends to be more negative stories just because they are more attention-grabbing to the readers. It's just how this business works. There are other stories that are good stories, but it mostly is negative. TheGuardian.com says that reading too much negative news can turn on our limbic system. What the limbic system does is it regulates our stress levels, and if this is kept on for too long, it can lead to chronic stress. The Guardian says that there are side effects such as digestion problems, lack of growth, which could be like your hair, your cells, nails, and like how tall you are. You can be prone to illnesses as well, have tunnel vision, and be desensitized to the stuff that's going on around you. MayoClinic.org says that there can be other problems such as trouble sleeping, depression and anxiety, and it can change your behavior as well. For example, you can withdraw into yourself and keep stuff inside, or you can be easily angry and lash out at people. It is not good for people's health to be immersed in so much news all the time. Stress can lead to intense fear as well. Fear is described as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, according to dictionary.com. While fear is good at times, it is the alarm system that we have that keeps us safe, but we shouldn't be fearful of things that might not even happen. For example, I have a friend that was scared of hurricanes, but she didn't even live in a place that she would encounter a hurricane. She just read it so much that she was afraid of it. If we don't keep these fears in check, they can become phobias, and helpguide.org says that phobias are irrational fears, and they can sometimes be exaggerated more so than they should be. Another example would be like my fear of needles. While that is from traumatic situations, like from the dentist and stuff, that is still a phobia that I have even today that I have to work on. Another example of fear would be the coronavirus right now. We are being shown story after story of the COVID-19. And while this is good to be informed and to keep on updating and stuff, we have seen the fear in people has skyrocketed so much. Our economy is tanking. There is no vaccine, so people are scared even more. And people are scrambling to get supplies like toilet paper and hand sanitizer and stuff. While it has made people in a good way wary, it has cost us civility, being nice to other people, and it has cost us our freedoms as well. The news can be helpful, but we can see how much of an impact it has on our lives. It can shape our viewpoints as well, and that's why people are kind of wary about CNN and Fox News when people say that they got their sources from that, because they are known to be a little biased at times. With this much power, we have to make sure to regulate it in our lives. And now the question is how? How can we stop the illnesses and the fears that seem to rise from the news? It seems like the obvious answer is to stop watching the news. And while this is this may be harder than we think. GoodTherapy.org says there are 3 categories when coping with negative news. The first one is when they watch the news all the time and they become super hypersensitive to everything that's going on around them and are in that constant flight or fight mode. The second is when they don't look at the news at all. They are honed in on their little bubble and they try to keep away as far as they can from the news. The third one is when they keep a balance of the two and are able to live their lives out, but they are still in the loop. We want to try to strive, obviously, for the third one. This website also says there are many factors that play into how people handle stress. Things like history and traumas can affect how we handle negative news in our lives. However, we still want to try to find a good balance. Another way we can physically change our reactions is through relaxation. ResearchGate.net studied students watching 15 minutes of the news, and then they put them into 2 different categories. So like the first one was they would do relaxation techniques after the 15 minutes of watching the news, and then the other one they would immediately listen to a lecture. The results showed that the group that used relaxing methods was less negative and had less anxiety after watching the news. This shows that relaxing our bodies and our brains has a huge effect on our positivity levels and after watching the news. If we are viewing the news, it may want to make us tense up or be wary of things that are going on around us. But we got to remember to just take a deep breath, loosen our shoulders, and remember that it's not going to be like this all the time. We have to remember that what we see on the news is not always the case. Like in this pandemic, there are still people that are healthy and safe, which is a good thing. There are people doing acts of kindness to help their neighbors out. We got to keep the hope up and positivity and look for the little things to smile about. And that will help us with our fear and our anxiety and just learning how to breathe through this. As we sit in our homes and dorms, it can be easy to turn on the TV and maybe even see what President Trump has said in a press release. While we should stay informed, we need to be careful about how much we take in. Today, we looked at the negative effects that the news can bring into our lives and what we can do to prevent them. Stress from negative stories can bring unwanted fears and illnesses, but we have to learn how to control that, and then we will be able to decrease those effects. And with that, I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.